Hey guys, it's Kelsey and I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is scrap 5. We are starting out this year with a very tricky recipe. It may not be tricky for everybody, but I had to sit and think a little bit about this one, and it turned out really cool, and it was really fun. I did have to pull in some extra stuff from my stash for this one, so this isn't really using the products from my How to Kill a Kit with Style, but I still wanted to sneak a coffee cup on here just to go with the theme. So I needed to use some old stash that was unopened. That was kind of the trickiest thing because if it's old stash, I have opened it and used it. So to get around that, I'm using 2 packs of old stash that I haven't used in a really long time. So even though it is open, I'm trying to at least use 2 different things that are in that category to hopefully get around it. So I'm pulling in some Mint to Be Fab paper from the Paper Studio, and I'm pulling in a 6x6 from a Scrapbooking Cards Today kit. So I basically based this whole collection on this sticker book. I've also had this sticker book in my stash for a while and have used it maybe once. And I just thought that if I'm going with a sticker book that I'm going to dig into, this one was the most appropriate for the theme because this is kind of a girls' night in layout. And this sticker book is very girly. So I basically found the sticker book I was going to use first and then looked through some really old stash to try to find papers that coordinated with it. So it has very much this pink and coral and minty green color scheme. So right away I pulled in the minty papers. There's this really cool geometric paper with some gold foiling that I haven't used. I love this paper. It's just very bold. So I was having a hard time using it, which is why it's been in my stash for so long. But we're using it on this one. It went too perfect with that sticker book to not use it. And then the 6x6 from the Scrapbooking Cards Today is a Chamel paper, I believe, but it has that minty green, kind of a more subdued pattern, and I really needed a more calm paper for some layers to break up the very bold background. So now you can just see me going through the sticker book. So I got sidetracked. The recipe for today, old stash that's unopened. I have opened old stash, so I'm just using 2 different packs. We had to use at least 3 pictures, a sticker book, and use as many of the stickers as we could. We had to use sequins and we had to use paint. So very tricky combo, but a very fun combo. So I'm starting out by just piling a bunch of the stickers I thought would go on this page. I'm sticking them down to some plain white paper so I could back them. That way I could move them around more like die cuts. They're also kind of thin stickers, and I knew I'd be overlapping a lot of them, so I wanted them backed in paper just so they were a bit more substantial and easier to layer. So I'm just going through and fussy cutting all of these stickers that I've backed on white. And I'm planning for pretty much just using this as my embellishment, other than the sequins I'll eventually have to pull in. You can see I have 2 little containers of Felicity Jane sequins. I have the colored sequins from the Jenny collection that has a lot of the pinks and corals in it. And then I also have, I forget which collection it is, but it's the heart confetti that's white, gold, and black. So I thought either of those could work. And the paint, I went ahead and pulled out some white acrylic paint thinking I'd use it somehow, but I ended up going in a different direction once we get there. But I have 3 photos here. This is from our kind of roommate sushi girls' night. So junior year of college, I lived in an apartment with 3 other girls, and one of them was from China originally, and she taught us how to make sushi. So that was really fun, and every couple months we would have a sushi night where we would just have all the fixings, and we each would make our own roll, and we'd kind of share our rolls between everybody, and that was just a really fun experience. That was one of my favorite things about when I did live in an apartment. I feel like I don't do well with roommates. I very much am someone who needs my own space, so a lot of the times when I wasn't in school, I was in my room studying, and I didn't do a lot with my roommates. So this is one of the things that we really did get to bond over. So I just have a couple photos, and they're very bad photos, but I thought like this was something that was important to document. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. This was when before I had an iPhone, and my camera wasn't super great on my phone, so it is what it is. But I'm just stacking all three of the photos together and matting them all on some black, and that's just going to be a vertical film strip. I'm planning on the big cluster being to the lower right here, and then a little cluster in the upper left. And I just wanted one more sticker to kind of round out the upper left-hand corner, and I found this globe one, which I thought was really cool, and I also thought it was appropriate just because my roommate was from China, so she's here now across the globe, and we're experiencing part of her culture, which is fun. I love sushi, and pretty much ever since this, I've always been a big sushi person. And she also taught me how to use chopsticks. I struggled, and I could use chopsticks before this, but I struggled. I feel like after our sushi nights, I was a pro. So that was another thing I wanted to document. So I'm just doing the same thing with the globe as I did with the other stickers. I'm backing them on some white and fussy cutting and pulling in a black tag from my stash. I really wanted some pops of that bold black. I felt like I needed some black on here to be contrast to the bright colors, but help tone down the gold a little bit. So this is kind of where I'm at. This is pretty much, I think, how the layout's going to turn out. I am going to trim some of that green paper that's behind the photo strip and pull that over to the left-hand cluster, so there's green on the other side of the page too. But I was missing some kind of layered detail of interest. So as I've been doing a lot lately, we're doing a notebook edge punch with some white. I just love what that adds to the page. So I'm pulling in a scrap piece of white to do the notebook edge punch. And that's going to run vertically up the left side of the photos. But I'm also planning on having a horizontal notebook edge punch running behind the right hand cluster, just so that detail and that pop of white is on both sides of the page as well. So it takes me a minute to get that situated, but I really love what that adds. And then I think we are going to try to tackle the paint situation next, because at this point I've used some old stash. I have 3 pictures. I've used a good chunk of this sticker book. I'm planning on the sequins being a final touch, so it's really just the paint that had me stuck. Initially, I was thinking, okay, I could do some kind of mixed media, but I really like the background, and I think if I tried to do mixed media or something over it, it would just get very busy and very muddy and confusing. So instead, I decided, instead of inking around my layers, I would paint around the edges to give that kind of look, but in a more bold way. So that was fun. It was, we're experimenting this month anyways, so I kind of feel like that's on theme for this month, with playing with different techniques. And I don't hate it. It is a little bit messier than the inking would be, but I think it's a really fun, cool finishing look on the paper. So you guys will get to see that in a minute once I get to that point. I do have a scrap of Felicity Jane ribbon that I'm threading through that tag. I just wanted something bold and black again to help break up some of these colors. And then I just gutted that section of the green so I'd have some on the other side. But this is where I'm going in with the black acrylic ink. I'm going to corner around the green paper just so it's not so blocky, just add a little bit of interest. And then I'm just going to take a paintbrush with the black acrylic ink and just go around the edges. I won't make you guys watch all of this. I'll skip ahead in a minute to where this and the 12 by 12 is done. But this is all I'm doing. I'm just going around the edge with the black to give it a little bit of a fun detail. And I don't know if I would do it all the time, but I think on the right page, it's a pretty cool technique. It gives you kind of that glossy finish that Nuvo Drops does, and I think it's really cool. So I'm going to skip ahead to where all of this painting is done and it's dry, and we can continue with the layout. Okay, so just finishing up the 12 by 12 here. I'm laying it on some plastic packaging while it dries, and then here I am a couple days later and it's finished. So again, it's a cool kind of different finishing touch. I like doing details around the edge, such as inking or faux stitching or something like that. So I think this is just another kind of technique to have in the arsenal. I don't know if there's a neater way to do it. I think if I maybe poured some ink onto some plastic and ran the edge through it, you'd get a cleaner line. But for the purposes of this page, I was okay with it being a little bit messier. This is kind of a DIY girls' night. We weren't too careful with our sushi. It fell apart and it was a mess at times. So I think the more casual, fun, wonky paint around the edge kind of just goes with the feeling of it. But now that it's dry, I'm just going to go ahead and pretty much glue all these layers back down where I had them. Here is the other notebook edge punch I'm adding to the right hand side, so I'm just getting that trimmed and positioned, but I just wanted that layer on the other side of the page as well. So getting that stuck down, and then I'll go back and put my little embellishment cluster back together. I love the Let's Be Besties. I love that there's a coffee cup on there because, again, even though I'm not using my themed kit for How to Kill a Kit with Style on this page, I just was really happy that this page was still on theme. I still got a coffee cup used up. I didn't even think about pulling that sticker book into this kit, and I don't know how well it would have gone with the kit, but once I pulled it out and I saw there were coffee cups on it, I was like, oh, perfect. So I'm doing the Let's Be Besties. I'm getting the messy hair, don't care, because these nights we were in our PJs with our hair in messy buns, so again, appropriate. I am using one of those bow stickers and popping it up on some foam to layer over the bow that's on that sticker, just for a little bit of fun dimension. And then the Girl You Got This sticker, I'm popping that up on some foam as well, so that'll have a little bit of dimension. And then just tucking this little black and white camera next to her for an added little touch. But I love this little cluster. I'm very happy with how many stickers I got used up in that sticker book. And now I'm focusing on this other corner. So I'm going to glue down the little sunglass sticker as my horizontal base. I'm going to pop the globe up on some foam. And then the black sticker I really like. I think it helps tie in the black tag from the big cluster, but it's just proportionally a little bit too big, a little bit too long. So I will cut off the love portion so it just reads My Life. And I think that works better for that cluster. So I'm just going to trim that off. I thought about saving the little love portion to use in a different section, but the spacing is just off with how I had to trim it, so we'll see what happens. But I'm sticking the globe down, and now that I have all my stickers secure, I need to do my title, I need some journaling, and I need some sequins. So for my title, I thought I would pull in some gold stickers since there are gold accents on this page. The sticker book itself has an alphabet in it, so I knew for sure I needed to use that as part of my title, but I really wanted to do a mixed font title on this one. So what I decided to do is pull in the gold tile alphas that are a part of my kit this month. I haven't used the gold yet this month either. I've used the rose gold sheet that's in that pack, but not the yellow gold one. I'm just going to spell out Roommate Night with the little tile alpha, and then above that I'm going to do Sushi in the fun circular font from the sticker book. That way it reads Sushi Roommate Night, which is what we called it. The ribbon through the tag is covering up a lot of this title, you will see, so I do trim the ribbon down a little bit shorter. I like the look of how the ribbon is now, but I thought I really wanted my title there. I felt like it made sense for it to be there. So I'm just going to sacrifice some of this ribbon by trimming it shorter in the end. I had to spell check roommate, silly enough. I don't know why, like very simple words when I'm videotaping, I second guess myself. For a moment I was like, are there two M's? And I'm like, of course there's two M's. So I had to double check to make myself feel better, but I do know how to spell that word. So here's roommate, and then I'm just going to spell out night with a little exclamation point and then the little sushi. And I love the way mixed fonts look, and I need to just do it more because I always love how they end up. And I just love the pop of gold because I really didn't pull in too much gold other than the accents that are on the stickers. So I think this is a good way to finish it out. But there's the tile stickers, and then here are the circular stickers. And I'm really happy I also used the alpha from the sticker book because that's that many more stickers that I got used up from it. But there's the title, and then underneath the notebook edge layer, I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. And it just says, our roommate Z is from China, so she showed us how to make sushi and use chopsticks, and then I dated it. Here I'm trimming that black ribbon, which was an ordeal because I could not cut it straight and it kept fraying, but I think we got to a point where I'm happy with it. At one point I tried to use some Nuvo glue to like secure the frayed edges. I don't know if that worked or not, but I tried. I really struggled when I trimmed this ribbon down. I honestly almost forgot the sequins. I went back to my recipe list and I was like, did I get everything? It's like, I got the stash, I got the pictures, I got the sticker book, I got the paint. And I was like, oh, I need the sequins. So I went back to my little Jenny sequin pack from Felicity Jane. I really wanted to use some of these pinks and corals. I think it just went really well with the colors on this page. So I'm just mixing and matching some of the floral starbursts with the circular ones and mixing and matching some of those lighter pinks with the brighter coral. And I think that's a kind of fun finishing touch. So I'm just going to use that instead of enamel dots or Nuvo drops. I'm going to glue this down with my Nuvo glue. And then I think we're done. I don't think I've done my journaling yet. I think I will at the end. But this is pretty much what I'm doing with the sequins. I didn't want to do too much. But I did want a little bit of that interest in both sides. And I just think it's such a fun little girly page. And I think it really went with the vibe of those nights. We just really had fun making this sushi together. I do try to make sushi myself and have these nights with me. Marcus doesn't like sushi, so it's really just when he's eating something else and I want to have sushi. But I cannot cut sushi apparently, so I just end up having a sushi burrito and eat it as a log instead of the little bite-sized pieces, and it works out pretty good. I think Z would be proud that I continued her tradition. But I'm getting that journaling down, and then that's pretty much it. So the close-ups will be here in a minute. Make sure you check out everyone else who's playing along with Scrap 5. I'm very interested to see what they did with this recipe. But again, I just love how this turned out, and I wouldn't have thought to pull this stuff together if it weren't for this challenge. So very appreciative of that. Here are the close-ups, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.